So, with my ill-advised thoughts, I would like to talk about the fact that, you know, hip hop has evolved so much over time, and it's well documented that like sampling has been a big part of the hip hop music scene, from the beginning stages, the first hip hop song, up until now. You're still hearing songs that are being sampled, even up till now. And I really don't think that's an element that will ever really go away. So I thought something was really interesting that happened this week, and it was the fact that the U.S. Library of Congress built a royalty-free hip hop sampling site. And I'm reading this straight from this website called Music Tech. And essentially what this means for artists from now moving forward is the fact that you're going to be able to sample old songs, you're going to be able to sample old speeches, you're going to be able to sample all of these old historical royalty-free, which means you don't have to pay for it, which means if you use it, no one's going to come and then start asking for money because you sampled the music. You sampled whether it was music or someone's voice. This is really important, man, because the royalty game is really big in the music industry, and it's been one of those things that's allowed many artists in the past to still be eating off of money. Still be eating off of samples and music that they put out in the past. So if you're an up and coming artist, or you're an artist that's still out trying to make a name for yourself, I'll give you the release date because this is very important. In August of this year, you're going to be able to go onto the U.S. Library of Congress royalty hip hop sampling site and download royalty-free music and voice recordings for free. You're not going to have to worry about a 60s artist coming back talking about, hey, you made a hit, give me my money because you have a platinum song, and I want my money even though like you never hit them up. You're not going to have to worry about any of that. This is a very, very big deal that I think it might end up having a very, very positive impact for like indie artists, and then just up and coming artists making music, trying to make a name for yourself, sampling music like everybody has been sampling from the beginning of hip hop until now. Because like I said, I think this is one of those things that's been within music that's never going to change. Sampling is going to be here from now until the end of music. Personally, I don't even feel like you can make music without sampling something. Like, if you really think about it, for all the producers out there, all the artists, songwriters, you have a beat, you get a kit, you have a virtual kit that you downloaded from somewhere. That virtual kit of sounds came from somewhere. A lot of us, we don't even really know where that shit comes from. So, again, this is very important because it's going to change, I believe, the game for indie artists, and you're not going to be able to have to just report to anybody that you use their music or anything like that. So stay on the lookout for the release date of, like I said, this U.S. Library of Congress building this site. And let me give you the name right now. It's going to be called Dubbed Citizen DJ. I see here it's a tool that gives you access to audio recordings from library collections dated back to over 100 years. These are things that some of your favorite producers have been doing for the longest that you're not even really familiar with, but because they have access to, record labels who can actually pay the money to actually dish out to those people who would be requesting these royalties. Hey, you're welcome. That's all I have to say. That's my ill-advised thoughts.
That's a very, very interesting ill-advised thoughts. I mean, if Puff Daddy was still making music more often, he would be very happy with you right now. The king of sampling. That was interesting. That was interesting.
Thank you. I thought it was something interesting that happened, but I'm just not sure how many people even have. how many people know about that or even care. But I think if more people know about this, it's definitely going to open some eyes. But
I think so. I think so. And that's for especially for aspiring artists, because a lot of aspiring artists are coming into the game not necessarily knowing about these things like sampling and getting sued. So right here, you already know before you even get popping, like there is something that you can go to.
yeah, I mean, look at one example before you go. Juice World, right? Juice World's biggest song, his first hit, "Lucid Dreams," right? The producer that made that beat sampled a song by Sting. As a matter of fact,
Yes.
the majority of the song was like a complete loop of Sting's. I forget the name of the song. Damn. Anyway, it was a song by Sting. But the point is, it was said that actually Sting sued Juice WRLD and the record label that put that song out.
Yes, he
They
did.
got about 80% of the proceeds, the profits. I think it was 85% of the profits that was made from that song. That song went like 3 or 4 times platinum.
Yeah.
Right. So you can imagine the amount of money, the check that was cut for somebody like Sting because they didn't properly sample and give rights to the person that originally made this. So again, this is something that could help out aspiring artists and even artists that are popping right now, man. So we'll see.
For sure, man. My ill-advised thought, not dot. It's a deep one. It's a powerful one. It is the use of the N-word by people that aren't Black. So what does the N-word mean to you? To me, the N-word is a historically racist word that has been made into a dynamic word that is used exclusively amongst Black people like myself today. In other words, the N-word symbolizes that us as Black people are capable of making the sweetest lemonade out of lemons that were given to us that were both rotten and poisoned. And guess what? If you aren't Black, you aren't allowed to take a sip of that lemonade that we just made. With that being said, the word is abused, misused, and oftentimes stolen by those that aren't Black. While nearly every single time a white person says the N-word, especially with the ER at the end, they are reprimanded, and rightfully so. They weren't the most amazing people to our ancestors, right? However, when someone who isn't white says the word, we aren't so quick to put them in their place. In hip hop, there are a bunch of rappers that aren't Black that say the N-word. Some actually say it more than Black people, right? I hate to call out names, so I'll just give you a clue of some of the people. One of them reps Gucci Gang, and the other one has colorful rainbow hair. I don't understand the worlds these rappers live in, so I'm not going to sit here and judge them. But what I will do is ask them this question. What does the N-word mean to you? Is it something cool to say? Do you think deep down that you got Black roots? Is the word there for you? Do you use the word to boost your brand? What I will tell people that are brown, white, Asian, et cetera, is that some of the excuses that I've been hearing has not been acceptable. One common excuse I hear from non-Black N-word users is that, oh, my friends use it that are Black, Jamaican, so I feel like I can use it too. Okay, I get that. But are you paying your dues for using the N-word? A word that isn't yours, essentially. As Black people, we've allowed people to take, without any exchange, our culture, our words, our everything. So my thing is this. If you're going to use the N-word and you're not Black and you're not white, are you going to give us some type of exchange for that? If you're going to use the N-word, are you going to stand up for Black injustice? If you're going to use the N-word, are you going to give back to the Black communities? Someone who does just that is Fat Joe. So I'm not as angry with Fat Joe I'm still not comfortable with Fat Joe using the word as much, but I'm somewhat, it's stomachable to me. That's because Fat Joe has actually talked about going to Africa and giving back, and Fat Joe is heavy in the Black communities. That's highly documented. The main reason I brought this topic to light is because I've noticed that a lot of the rappers of today are using the N-word quite a bit. For instance, Nav, someone who the other day in an article said that he stopped using the N-word because he was pressed by a lot of critics about using the word. His excuse was that he grew up with Black, Jamaican, Spanish, Asian people around him, so he felt comfortable enough to use the word. Well, clearly logic got to him because he stopped using the word. So in conclusion, this is what I got to say. The N-word has always been a confusing topic. But if you have interest in using it, I simply ask you to answer this one question. What does the word mean to you? If you can't give me a straight, logical answer, maybe you shouldn't use it. That's my ill-advised thoughts.
Hey, I have one word for you.
Yes, sir. Overachiever.
That's what that ill-advised thoughts was. That was phenomenal. That was great. That was great. That was very, very thought-provoking. I was sitting back and really, really assessing the situation because I feel the same way you feel. It's one of those topics that, like, when people have real conversations about it, you can call out so many contradictions, right? There's so many inconsistencies with who you can use it, when they can use it, and who they can use it around. And the simple fact that, like you said, Nav got checked and he backed off, that's one of those indications that, okay, maybe he shouldn't have been using it from the jump. Like, if you're not going to keep the same energy,
yes,
if you're not going to believe in this enough to be like, no, like, I'm a part of this culture, so yeah. I'm not going to stop using it because you're trying to check me. That means that you never really believed in it from the beginning. Like, you didn't believe.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Whatever that even means, you believed in. I don't even know what that means, but my point is, whatever he believed in, for him to use it, he didn't feel that strongly enough.
Yeah. You can kind of just dismiss it. You can kind of just be like, oh, well, I don't have to use it. Gone. And I do have an issue with that. At the end of the day, it's a word that means something. At the end of the day, I understand, like, we use it as Black people. Sometimes we use it in a bad way. Sometimes we use it, just kind of as a greeting. But at the end of the day, it means something historically and today. And so I don't think we should just sit back and allow people to say it in our faces, and especially if you're not Black, and not feel some type of way or not bring that up that you feel uncomfortable about it. But at the same time, like, we don't know these stories, like I said. So, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what people's reaction is to what I just said.
Yeah, man, that's again, very, very, that's probably that might be your best ill-advised thought. Real talk. Yeah. That might be the number one. So, man, that's interesting that you brought that up, man. We'll see what people feel. We'll see if people feel a certain type of way, and we'll try to get some answers. How about that?
We're gonna get some answers to this.
Let's try to get some damn answers.
I need some answers.
Let's play 60 Minutes on these people.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.